welcome back to another Spinnaker. So this one is out for sign up either now or by the time I release it, it may be available for purchase already. So let's just get into it. There we go, a chronograph indeed. I think it's a very, very long time since I featured a chronograph. Most of them have been three-hand dive style watches, so a nice little change up. Nothing to show you that's new. It's going to be the influencer guide, microfiber cloth and tags in this typical blue packaging that it comes in. So let's just show you the watch. So guys, this is indeed the Spinnaker Hull chronograph. Now Hull, I think, must be one of their favorite designs. Certainly the original Hull is still one of my favorite watches, and they've gone on to make a California dial version, as well as a stealth version of the California, which I've reviewed on the channel. This is in fact the fourth version of the Hull watch that I've reviewed, but the first one that is, as you can see here, a quartz model. So here we have the Hull chronograph SP-5068-02 for this color variation with this dark brown leather strap here. Okay, so this is what this model is. It does come in two other variations, including one with a blue dial and then one with, I think, a lighter strap, but I'll put up screenshots if I can find it. So let's just get into the specific movement of this watch. So in this case, this quartz chronograph, as you may guess, is a Seiko VK series chronograph. It is a mecha-quartz. So it's got that 1/5 central chronograph second hand. It's got a 24-hour dial display at 3 o'clock. Small seconds counter at the 6 o'clock position that you can see there clicking away in that quartz tick, tick, tick. And a 60-minute chronograph totalizer at the 9 o'clock position. Okay, so that's the complications there. The last thing to say is does have that large date display at the 12 o'clock position, which is a nice thing. Haven't seen a Spinnaker with a large date like that. The battery on this watch is rated at 3 years lifespan, so that's what you can kind of expect it to function at. Okay, moving on to the case description here. So the case here is 42mm in terms of the diameter here, 316L steel, so same as the other Hull watches that I've reviewed, but I think it might be a smidgen thicker because of the design. It's 15.2mm stick to the top of the glass there. The lug width is 22mm with a lug-to-lug distance between my thumbs there of 47.5mm. Overall weight of a quartz movement on the leather strap is quite light at 83 grams. That's what it tips the scales at. So very comfortable, very easy to wear on the wrist. It's not heavy by any means. Okay, talking about the finishing here. So check out that tachymeter bezel. You would already have noted that. It's actually circular brush finish on that tachymeter bezel. The cushion case here is polished all over pretty much, at least on the top surfaces. It does have some nice little touches, including the brushing on the top of the lugs here, but the side of the lugs is also polished along with the end of the lugs there. Bottom of the case here, you may have seen the other Spinnakers, is actually transverse brushing, which is a nice little change up on the Hull models because I don't think any other of their watches has transverse brushing on the case bottom. So this is really the only one. Now the case back is mostly polished along the side, but it does have that Spinnaker logo, that sail printed or etched in the middle there. So with that screw down solid case back and also a screw down etched crown there, so there's a bit of an etching for the typical Spinnaker logo. It's rated at 100-meter water resistance, and I think that's mainly because it's a chronograph with these pushers. Now just to note that these pushers do have a bit of a screw down holder here, so that's a nice little touch there. So I've just opened it up and just going to start the counter and leave that running for the rest of the review here. Okay, let's let you guys see that central 1/5 second chronograph hand running, just to show you it is actually a quick reset. Okay, it goes straight back if you press the reset button. I'm going to start it again just to show you guys running that counter. All right, let's talk about the dial now. So the dial here is actually this kind of a dark colored Fume dial, as as was the original Spinnaker Hull. Now this has printed details all over, including the chapter ring around the outside, the Spinnaker name, as well as the sub-dial marking. So all those details are printed. There's not a single applied marking here, but what it does have is sandwich construction. So all the loom parts, including all the indices around the main dial, as well as interval indices and all the sub-dials, have a sandwich loom construction, meaning there's an underlayer where the loom is, and it's pretty good. It's pretty nicely made. And of course, later on, I'll put a loom shot after I describe the hands here. So the hands, I'll let you know, are brush baton hands. So that applies to the large minute-hour hands, as well as all 3 sub-dial hands are kind of brushed batons with loom on all these hands, all 5 hands, as well as the lollipop on the central chronograph. Okay, so right here, I will show you that loom shot to show how it looks like, how it glows in the dark, and all the bits that glow for you to see. And you can see from these shots that you can actually read the chronograph once the loom is charged in the dark. Okay, on top of that, a domed glass, and it is domed mineral glass with some distortion characteristics around the edge, around extreme angles, which is nice. It's one of the things I've always liked about the Hull models here. Okay, so that's the case description. Let's talk about the band, which I'm going to be, as usual, not very passionate about. Just typical Spinnaker waterproof stitched leather. In this case is, I guess, what I would call a drab brown. That's what I would name it. Let me know if you have any other affectionate nicknames for this color, with the typical brushed steel Spinnaker buckle. Okay, so that's the description of the entire watch. Let's just put it on for a wrist shot now. So there you go, guys. There is the Spinnaker Hull chronograph on my 17cm wrist. Now it is a large watch because of what this styling is, and that strap does, where you double it up, it is actually quite thick. So that's really the style that this is going for, kind of this rugged look. Okay, and remember 15.2 millimeters thickness. It's not a very thin watch by any means. It really does stand out as a rugged casual style, which is not a bad thing, I think, in this particular product. Okay, guys, so that's the entire description of this watch. What have I enjoyed about the Spinnaker Hull? Now, look, I think this is a neat modification to what is one of their favorite designs, or at least one of my favorite Spinnaker designs. They've gone for a chronograph upgrade to that dial, so extensive changes, and they've done it pretty well. I gotta say, this is not a bad look at all in terms of the dial design that they've gone for. It's got that same great cushion case. I really like this cushion case of the Hull, one of my favorite cases that they've made. And they've gone for screw pushers, which is a really nice thing. I like that they've done that instead of just doing a typical boring straight pushers. They've got that extra detail here. Now, the going price for this, I forgot to mention at the start, is going to be $235 USD. I will of course put my usual discount codes down the bottom, and you can try it out to see if it looks, or in fact the sign up doesn't allow you. I'm not really sure, but give it a go by all means. 235 is what it's going for, and that is a certain level of value proposition, considering it's not mechanical. It's I guess this premium quartz type of movement, keeping in mind that it doesn't have fancy materials. There is no ceramic insert for a bezel like this, and they haven't gone for sapphire, nor have they given you a steel bracelet. It's got those kind of basic propositions. So, let me know what you think about this price. Maybe it will be under 200 with a discount. Let me know your thoughts. Is this something that is of value to you? Now, the last thing, and again, I will keep saying this until they improve this drastically, is that the strap, once again, is lackluster and uninspiring, and not anything that anyone will write home about. It's actually just typical average Spinnaker leather. So there you go, guys. My review of this fairly nice upgrade of the Hull, the Spinnaker Hull chronograph. Let me know your particular thoughts. I know many of you will have Spinnaker models. Let me know if you'll punt out for this particular upgrade of the favorite hull model. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. New content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time.